So, what does putting values into practice look like on a day-to-day basis? It's about continuously assessing how our actions, from the fees we set to the clients we see to the people we choose to network with and refer clients to, making sure those align with our core principles. It's about making decisions that honor how we want to show up in the world and in our work, ensuring our practice is a genuine reflection of our deepest beliefs and principles. Welcome to the Colleague Down the Hall podcast. This episode is sponsored by the Collab Oasis Clinical Consultation Groups. Hi, I'm Janine Wolf, and I'm your colleague down the hall. I have a passion for helping fellow therapists get the clinical and collegial support we all need to do this work. And wow, it just keeps getting harder every day. I'm the founder and facilitator of the Collab Oasis Clinical Consultation Groups. I have been a social worker for almost 30 years, and I own a successful solo online private practice. More of us than ever are practicing in solo or online practices, and we all need colleagues to process cases with, commiserate with on those really hard days, and also to celebrate our successes with. In this podcast, I'll bring you insights about trends and changes in our field and sit down with amazing therapists who are doing amazing work. We'll discuss fictionalized cases, ways to practice sustainably, and of course, there will be plenty of laughing. I love laughing with friends. I'm so glad to have you as one of my colleagues down the hall. Hello, everyone. You are listening to another episode of the Colleague Down the Hall podcast. I'm your host, Janine Wolf, and today we're going to talk about the benefits of examining our personal values to create a private practice that fully aligns with who we are as humans. Recently, I had a conversation with a colleague embarking on the journey of opening her online private practice. As we navigated through topics like intake forms, scheduling, decisions around having a niche, and structuring a practice that genuinely serves you and your clients, we also discussed a topic that resonates deeply with me: values. Throughout my private practice journey, I've been fortunate to have mentors who guided my path with their wisdom. One piece of advice that has profoundly influenced my approach is to always ask, does this action, decision, or offering align with my values? This simple question has become a cornerstone of my practice, a powerful tool that guides me through the multitude of decisions we face as therapists. Let's talk about why honoring our values is so critical. Values act as a compass, guiding us in how we show up in the world and in our work. They help us assess our needs and those of our clients, ensuring that our boundaries are neither too loose nor too rigid, that our fees and our professional network and even our policies reflect who we are at our core. For instance, when creating policies, my values ensure that I can look a client in the eye and feel comfortable about enforcing or explaining a policy. I have experienced the discomfort of trying to enforce a policy that was recommended to me but didn't align with my values. Or when faced with the decision to charge a no-show or late cancellation fee, I find myself turning to my values because I've tried to do that in the past with policies that didn't align with me, and it felt very uncomfortable. Sometimes the decisions align with enforcing the fee, while other times my values of compassion and understanding take precedence, and I choose to waive it. It's this flexibility rooted in my values that shapes having a practice that I consider to be both ethical and empathetic. I hear so many therapists saying they don't consistently enforce certain policies, especially those around finances. I suspect that if they examine their values, they will find the root cause of this problem is that policy does not align with their values. When looking at decisions about niches, my values again serve as a point of reference. They help me evaluate whether I'm passionate and effective working with a particular client population. I have learned over the years that if I'm effective with certain clients, but those clients drain me, I am not serving that client to the best of my abilities, nor am I serving them in their best interest. I am also impacting my entire caseload with that choice. We face so much burnout in our field that guarding our energy is an important piece to consider. Similarly, When it comes to adjusting my schedule or taking time off, my values ensure that these decisions enhance my ability to show up fully for my clients and also honor the needs of myself and my family. So, what does putting values into practice look like on a day-to-day basis? It's about continuously assessing how our actions, from the fees we set to the clients we see to the people we choose to network with and refer clients to, making sure those align with our core principles. It's about making decisions that honor how we want to show up in the world and in our work, ensuring our practice is a genuine reflection of our deepest beliefs and principles. Regularly thinking about my values not only informs how I run my practice, but also how I present myself to the world. Making values-driven decisions allows others to know who I am and what they can expect from me. It's a practice that brings immense clarity, satisfaction, authenticity to my work. Reflecting on and adhering to our values isn't just about making ethical decisions. It's about building a private practice that truly resonates with who you are, offering services in a way that feels right to you and best serves those you help. Now I turn the question to you. Do you find integrating your values into your work and life beneficial? How do values shape the decisions you make in your private practice? Thank you for joining me for this important episode. If today's discussion has inspired you to reevaluate how your values influence your private practice, you will find a link to the Values and Private Practice worksheet I created. Together, let's continue to cultivate therapy practices that are not only successful, but also deeply aligned with our values and principles as humans who also happen to be therapists. For everyone listening, there are new episodes of the Colleague Down the Hall podcast released every Thursday on all major platforms. Please remember, our work is hard, but it doesn't have to be lonely. Thank you so much for listening to the Colleague Down the Hall podcast. For show notes, links, and downloads, head over to colleaguedownthehall.com, where you'll be able to learn more about getting the clinical support you need and resources to help you work in a supported, sustainable way. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share with your therapy friends and colleagues. Subscribe to the podcast, and if you love this episode, please leave a review.